Today, I want to tell you about the KGS-IT Data Product Platform's first tool that we're releasing. And it's a tool that's using Power BI connected to the platform, and it's designed to help you find and estimate the value of automation opportunities. So I'm going to show you how to find it, how to get it up and running, and then how to use it to help you find opportunities where you could improve existing automation or maybe start to tackle some automation that you think might be potentially valuable. As well as I'll give you some warnings and things to be aware of or to be careful of as you use this tool. So to begin this, let's go find it. You can jump out to our homepage. You can hit coke.link/data platform, or you can search for Data Product Platform on Yammer. Either way, if you come over here to our pinned links, you can click on the tools and templates here. This will take you to the SharePoint library behind that Yammer page, and you can find this Power BI template. I'm going to download this to my computer here. All right, open it up. And I'm going to open this with Power BI. Now, one thing to note here, this is a Power BI template file, not a PBIX file. And what that means is this has all the query definitions in the dashboard or the interface built, but the actual data is not in here. So you can see as soon as I opened it up, it immediately started to refresh and connect to that source data. It was just sort of the skeleton, and when you open it up, it's going to refresh. If you don't have a connection to the data product platform, if you don't have access, well, this isn't going to work for you. You're going to have access. But if you have access, you're able to open this up. You may have to authenticate with your name, your username using single sign-on, but then it should point at the platform and then pull in all the data that it needs. While that's going, I want to tell you one thing to be aware of. This is a tool, not a dashboard, so we're not going to publish the final form out for people to come and interface with. This is intended for you to come, work with, and to really bring your own knowledge, your own assumptions, and to find opportunities within your space. There's quite a few assumptions that this tool makes that are intended to be back of the envelope, rough cut, quick approximations that'll help you make some quick, maybe triage level decisions, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to use your judgment and knowledge of your processes and systems and data to work with your finance business partner or to work with your leadership to really decide, okay, what are we going to prioritize? What are we going to value? If you need a request for resources, that kind of thing. This is just intended to be a tool, a complement to help you on that journey. So, looks like most of the data is done refreshing. That's going to spin for a second, and then what that's going to do is the data model is going to be built on the back end for us. Again, everything is ready to go. It just needed to refresh the data. Okay, so that's done. We can look back here just to kind of see it at our data model. Here are the tables that we've brought in. You can see there's some special ones up here. Those are for the parameters that we've created, and I'll explain those in a second. And here's the interface. Again, I'm not calling this a dashboard because this is really intended to be something you really work with and get your hands dirty in and make some changes to, not a fixed thing that you just go change a couple of filters on. So how does this work? It's organized by catalog item names, so things that can be requestable, and then we'll go through kind of the different measures along the top. But first I want to explain what data is here. So we've got all the closed complete, so no incomplete items or open items, etc. Things within the last 365 days, and it's catalog tasks and rhythms. So no incidents, no requests. And really what we're trying to do, the high level, is we want to look at manual tickets, and we want to look at automated tickets. And we want to see how many of each of those there are, how long those things are taking, so we can make estimates about, well, if we could automate more, how much time would that save, or how much value would that create potentially? That's the kind of what we're getting at. So the rest of the assumptions are right here. Key ones that are around the value metrics, I'll come back to those. But one thing to be aware of is we're doing a couple of assumptions to get to those calculations. And those are the things that I would say use at your own risk, and really just understand what they're doing and then make your own adjustments or tweak them based on your team. Okay, so every assignment group is in here for Coke. All the tickets are in here, at least going back in the date range. If you want to change the date range, you certainly can. If you want to look at just a particular company, say GP or Invista, whatever, you can certainly come here and filter that. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to select on a catalog item owner group. This would be the owner of a cluster of catalog items. You can see this tool is organized by catalog items. And this will just help us focus in. I'm going to use one just as an example in this video, but you of course would want to use yours or the combination of ones that are relevant to you. But of course you can filter down however you want to. All right, so now we've got a subset of the catalog items in view here, and what is this tool starting to tell us? Well, let's start going from left to right, looking at the different measures. On the left here we have auto ticket count. And what this is looking at the number of RITMs, that requested items, that do not have any associated catalog tasks. So the item was created, but there were no catalog tasks associated with it, meaning there were no manual tasks associated with it. So we're assuming this was not an automated ticket. This right here, manual tickets, that's just a very simple count of the number of catalog tasks. If you're curious about the definitions of any of those measures, you can just come over here and search for them. Auto ticket, there it is. I'm gonna click on the little calculator right there. There's the formula popping up for me so I can see it. You can see that one's got a little bit more complicated syntax to it, but the manual ticket one, very straightforward, just counting the number of tickets that are catalog tasks. Pretty straightforward. Okay, we'll close that out. So that's the counts, and then this column right here, automation success rate, will tell you, very straightforward. Well, of the total number of tickets, auto and manual, what percent of those are automated? And you can see, for example, this one right here, high automation percent, and this one right here, lower, and for some of these, very low. Now, of course, some things aren't automated already. Some things had variable automation success rate, and some things have no automation. So you can see several items that have no automated tickets. That's okay. Maybe that task isn't automated. Maybe it's an opportunity to automate for you. Who knows? But you're not going to have an automation success rate there because, again, there's nothing to work with in there. Then moving to the right, these two columns, all this is doing, it's the same tickets in scope, but in this case, now we're looking at the duration in days. So we're looking at here, this is 8 days, 8.5, 4.5, etc. And we want to say, what's the average duration for the manual tickets and the automated tickets? And then, similar to automation success, this time savings is kind of telling you, well, when you shift to automation, how much of a time savings do you get? And so you can see here 94%, the automated duration is 94% lower than the average manual duration. So pretty significant potential time savings for this particular ticket type. Okay, so then where we go to the right, this is where things start to get interesting. These three measures right here are starting to estimate, using back of the envelope basic assumptions that should be challenged and validated, how much those tickets could be worth if you could automate them. And it does two different things. This first one's very straightforward. It's just kind of asking, well, how many manual tickets were there? And if I just make an assumption about, well, how much it costs me, my team, to work each ticket, and if I can automate those so that I don't have to work them, what's that worth? So very simply, number of manual tickets times this cost to work the ticket right here, and you get a number. You can change that number at any time. So if your group in general takes about an hour to do each ticket, and you assume your time is worth $100, well, then you could say it's $100. Or if you're looking at one ticket in particular and you say, you know what, this particular line item, I know that takes us a whole lot of time, and so I'm going to jack that one up here a little higher. So now it's going to change it for everything, but if you're just looking at one item, you can see there, okay, that number changed, and I can really focus in on that. So again, customize to your heart's content, use your own knowledge and assumptions here. This just allows you to change the parameters so you can do that. Moving to the right, what this next column is doing, and it's documented down here, what it says is, as long as the customer is waiting, there's some cost. Now the customer, of course, isn't sitting there twiddling their thumbs doing nothing, but whoever's waiting on that ticket, they're less productive than they could have otherwise been, because they're waiting on something's broken, there's something they want that they don't have. And so the idea is to say, well, how much is their time worth? Again, you can change that. And then how much of a productivity impact is it having on them? So the default numbers are $100 an hour and 10% productivity. So it's essentially saying for these days that they're waiting, here if you look at the manual time, it's a 10% productivity haircut at $100 an hour. Again, you can change all of that. Where there are manual and automated tickets, what it's going to do is going to say, it's going to look at the delta between them. So it's going to say, well, manual tickets are 8 days, automated tickets of this type are about half a day, so there's about a 7.5 day time savings, and that's the number it's going to use to kind of multiply by these. If there are no automated tickets to use as a benchmark for duration, what it'll do is it'll look at the manual time, and it'll assume about a 75% time savings. And if you're wanting to see that, you can always go into the customer wait. You can look at the measure, click in here, And you can see the calculation for yourself. There's that 0.75 if you're wondering. So this total opportunity cost column to the right, all it does is sum those two up, and there's the total. There's a sort right here. And so now what you can do is say, for the catalog items that are on my team, what's most valuable and what might it be worth? Again, you need to challenge this. You need to use your own assumptions. But one thing I want to do now is bring up just a couple of warnings for you. I picked this team, but there's some things going on here that this tool doesn't know about and need to be accounted for. And let's look at it right here. Complete user setup. Look how many tickets there are. That is a ton of tickets. What's going on here? Well, if I come to, I've got another table set up here that shows you all of the tickets in a scope here, but it's sorting them by assigned to. Look at right here, Office 365 ticket bot. This assigned to has 52,000 tickets. Well, that's either a very strangely named person that's productive in a way that no human being could, or that's some kind of automated thing. And so I might need to exclude these items here. So it turns out, if I come over here and I look for the assigned to, I'm going to click back on the chart and I'm going to filter for assigned to. It helps if I spell correctly. There we go. So I'm going to look for the assigned to name right here. And I'm going to add that to the filter. I'm not going to add it to the visualization. I just want to add that to a filter here. So assigned to name, I'm going to bring that in here. Okay. Now I've got some filtering. Now what I want to do is I want to filter that out. So this Office 365 bot, come back here, bring up that filter, and I'm going to do an advanced filter. Does not contain Office 365 bot. That should be enough. Now watch these numbers over here. Apply that filter. Takes it a second. It's going to reload the data. And then it should filter out a significant number. So let's see, assigned to name. Let's make sure I got that name correctly. Office, oh, I didn't. Office 365 ticket bot. So that didn't change anything because I did it wrong. Okay, let's come back here, fix that. Office 365 ticket bot. Let's apply that filter. Now let's watch over here. Should see, there we go. Look at this, huge change in the data. Lots of tickets got filtered out. Well, what does this mean? This means that you cannot blindly rely on this tool. You can't just pull this up and say, well, the tool says, or the data product team says there's this much value. No, you've got to use your own knowledge of your assignment groups and your team and your tickets to filter out things that are not relevant and to get the data that you can use. This is just intended to be a tool to help or complement what you can do and to accelerate you and to get you to look for things. The other thing I'll point out is you can drill in. So let's just say you want to drill in on this catalog item name here. You can drill in and see, the company that you're looking for. Oh, did I click on it? Yep, it's loading. You can see right there the spinning. It's really hard with the black. But so now I can see it by company, and then I can keep drilling in further if I want to drill more. And the reason this isn't a dashboard is for your team, you may say, well, I don't want to see it by company. I want to maybe see it by region. Maybe you want to see it by region, and so you want to sort the assigned to by the region, or you want to see it by the location, or whatever. Well, if this is a published dashboard, you can't control the slicing and dicing. So the reason this is a tool and not a dashboard is the intent is for you to come here and not just change your filters, but change your visualization parameters and change the drill down. Do you want to see location, company, region? What do you want to see that'll help you find the root cause of the opportunity, where it's a big issue, etc. Hope this is valuable for you. Please give us some feedback. Share if this tool is useful, not useful, how we can improve it, and good luck out there finding automation opportunities.